Hi, I'm Mark Sipic, Rocker Farm Auction. I'm here to discuss a wonderful selection of Huntington, New York pottery that we'll be selling in our March 14th auction. As you can see, this is a selection right here of Brown Brothers pottery. Brown Brothers was the foremost maker of stoneware in Huntington, Long Island, New York from about the 1860s to the turn of the 20th century. The most typical mark you'll see is actually Brown Brother, in which one of the brothers was not involved in the pottery. And it has an oval around the mark. You can see it says Brown Brother, and there's actually a space for where an S would be. Huntington, LI for Long Island. There's a few variations in the marks. You'll see this is an earlier mark. This mark here was used about 1870 to 1885. There's an earlier mark used 1863 to 1870 that reads Brown Brothers, Huntington, Long Island, in a different font. And there's an even earlier mark as well. One of the later marks, Brown Brothers, Huntington, Long Island, which the S is included, was used about 1885 to 1905. Now, these pieces on the ends are fairly typical Brown Brothers designs. This is a little unusual in that the flowers run diagonally, but their typical tulip motif, which includes two central petals, almost like a deer hoof, with extra smaller petals on the sides, is a typical design that they used for almost 50 years. And the vast majority of Brown Brothers pieces you'll see will have variants of this motif. Occasionally you'll see stenciled designs, you'll see stenciled roses. In rare instances you'll see a stenciled cow, stenciled eagles, things like that. The creme de la creme of Brown Brothers stoneware were their epitaph crocks. And there's not a whole lot of them out there. But for whatever reason they were fond of writing inscriptions on a handful of their crocks, and some of these have survived. This example right here is perhaps the best to come on the market in a long time, and certainly one of the best known of the epitaph crocks because it has such a wonderful sentiment to it. It says "Home Sweet Home," and this was based upon a song written during the 1820s by an author and a songwriter and a poet named by the name of Payne. And he had a home in Long Island, New York, an ancestral home that he was very fond of, and it was his grandfather's house from years before. But upon Payne's death, the house was dubbed Home Sweet Home. And his song, Home Sweet Home, was a very iconic American song for several decades in the 19th century. It was even popular in England. It was popular among Civil War soldiers. I've even read that that song was actually forbidden from being sung in some camps during the Civil War because they didn't want to encourage desertion. But it was played at President Lincoln's son's funeral, and it was a popular of Lincoln and his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln. So this is one of the better ones known. It has distinctive handwriting that you see on most or all of these epitaph crocks. You can see these large letters, Home Sweet Home, across the front. This is another one which sort of touts the pottery's abilities by the best, with this nice little flourish underneath. These two epitaph crocks, along with a number of other Brown Brothers stoneware pieces and Huntington, Long Island slipware, will be offered in this auction. We are very pleased to have the collection of Donald Mattys consigned to us, and we'll be selling it in pieces over the next 3 sales. Thank you very much.